Good morning, everyone. This is the third video of the series, and today I would like to give some advice to people new in roasting. When I started roasting, I would follow a very famous consultant. I won't say any names, but he had this idea that having a constant declining rate of rise in your profile would make your coffee taste great. And I would follow that philosophy for a while, and it mostly made me feel disappointed with myself because half of my roasts were not having a constant declining rate of rise. And this theory was never proven by a sensory panel, but it was more what the SCA Coffee Sensory and Cupping Handbook mentions. It was authority bias. That is when someone with a lot of authority, like this consultant, says something and the rest of us, because we are human and we want to belong, we follow that, right? And later on, I met the good people of CoffeeMind in Denmark. I don't know if you listened to the latest podcast that Morten released talking about scientific theories. He mentions 2 points that are quite interesting for me in this case. He mentions firstly that a small cause normally has a small effect. So we could apply that to the rate of rise. And the second point that I found interesting is that to have a sensory data that is relevant, you should keep the preference data, that is the quality, and the intensity data, that is the quantity, totally separated. And going back to the rate of rise theory, we never had such an approach. I didn't know how that the roast would be better, how would they taste better, or for whom, right? So I think the approach that CoffeeMind has, that is relying a lot on final roast color, is a great point of starting your coffee career. So I think buying a color meter would help you a lot, because they found out with a study using a trained sensory panel that the biggest flavor modulator in coffee is color, finer color, and that is around 80%, and the rest 20% depends on time, and 15% of those 20% depend on development time, that is the time from first crack to the end of the roast, and the remaining 5% is the time from the beginning of the roast to first crack. So knowing that color has such a big say in how the coffee is going to taste, having a color meter is the best thing you can have. And if you keep your color constant and you avoid any obvious defects, the ones that Rob Hoos calls objective defects, the ones you can see, like scorching, tipping, facing, and chipping. And then there are other defects that they are not so obvious. I learned about them in a really interesting class at the Zurich University of Applied Science. Those defects would be under-roasted, over-roasted, underdeveloped, and overdeveloped, that is baked coffee. If you keep away from all those defects and you keep your color measurements as a constant, you should not be afraid of your roasting like I was when I started roasting. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and see you next time.